Hi guys and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. I'm Farhad. If you're new to this channel then please smash that subscribe button now, and we are about 118 subscribers away from the 1.3k mark, the new goal of our channel. So if you're new, please smash that subscribe button and like the video. And today's video is dedicated to my lovely Digi family, who nudged me into watching the new Malayalam film, a wonderful Malayalam film which is called Nanpakal Nerathu Mayakkam. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Nanpakal uh, Nerathu Mayakkal. I have written it here. Nanpakal Nerathu Mayakkam. Mayakkam. So, firstly, let me just say that this is going to be a slightly longish video. Okay, I will be in this, giving out a lot of spoilers and explanations about the film. So, if you haven't watched the film, then you can just go towards the end of the video, to check out my final verdict about the film. I will also be narrating my theatrical experience, which I felt was a bit interesting to share. So there's a lot to pack into the video, and so this video will be slightly longer than my usual length of the video. So I hope you enjoy it. This is a new experiment, and let's go for it. So, Nanpakal Nerathu Mayakkam. This was the film that I was searching throughout Book My Show, and there were only about a couple of theaters that had subtitles. Book My Show does have subtitles, but the thing is that Book My Show is not the source of truth. Book My Show doesn't exactly tell you the entire picture. And there is one page that I follow on Twitter. There's a Twitter account which is called Mumbai Subtitle Database, which did give out a post saying that almost all theaters in Mumbai, where I am from, Mumbai, they would be running this film with English subtitles, so the print will be there. So I took a chance, and I went to one of the theaters that did not show up as an English subtitle show on Book My Show. And thus then it was a chance that I was taking, to just to ensure whether you can just squeeze in another Malayalam film. And this would be probably my second Malayalam film to watch in a theater in the original language. And I had gone with my mom, which was the first experience for my mother of watching a Malayalam film in a theater. So we are pretty new in that space. However, when the show did start, um, it did not have subtitles, and man, I was furious. I was absolutely furious, and I actually had to go and talk to the duty manager, as to what is this, why is the subtitles not there. And so sorting that out took like 3 to 4 minutes, and finally the subtitles were reintroduced. So it's a learning, for all of us, that if you do not find a film that has subtitles, you can always ask the duty manager, and it is the duty of the manager on, during the day manager, that he needs to introduce subtitles for the film. If he doesn't, then it's not right. And so this is a little bit of a learning that I thought of sharing it, with my Digi family as well. However, the subtitles were introduced, and the nature of the film was such that I could easily latch on to what was transpiring in the drama, despite missing out on a couple of minutes, or 2-3 minutes, you can say. Um, so then the film, which starred Mammootty, and it had Lijo Jose Pellicer as the director, it was a mouth-warming, mouth-watering affair. It did seem like a very interesting sort of a piece. Mammootty has been in red hot form right throughout 2022. I mean, his films Bhishma Parvam or even Roshak, both of them did feature in my list of top Malayalam films of 2022. And Lijo Jose Pellicer, we all know he's the god of absurdity in a very good way. His skills as a director are, second to none. And as they say, he doesn't repeat a film, and that is something that was interesting combo to begin with. So then, how is Nanpakal Nerathu Mayakkam? Let's find out. Here is the story, and again, this video is going to be a spoiler video. So if you haven't watched the film, do watch it and watch the video again, or you can go towards the end of the video to check out my final verdict about the film. So here we go. Nanpakal, Nanpakal Nerathu Mayakkam, I'm repeating the words, is a story essentially about a group of, is a theatre group, story of a theatre group, who are traveling from a place in Tamil Nadu back to Kerala, and that is the setup that is there until at a particular point, the leader of the group, which is played by Mammootty, his name is James. He just wanders off only to appear as a totally different person, and that is the basic conflict in the story. And the story here is absolutely absurd, but it has so many layers to it, it has so much subtext to it, that it made for a fascinating watch. It was amazing to watch. The screenplay here, before I get to the spoilers, the screenplay here, standing at 109 minutes, was it? 109 minutes, was pretty crisp. However, there's a lot to pack in here, and that is the fun of it, the fun of it, of having an absolute mind boggling experience. My next 2 hours, I never thought that, at the time when subtitles are not present, that my next 2 hours are going to be probably the best of the weekend, analytically speaking, the thinking movies. And if you know that, analytical films are my absolute favorites, I absolutely enjoy decoding films, and that is something that I absolutely is my bread and butter. You give me a complex film and I would want to decode it and go into the details of it. So that is something that was pretty much there. So, at the very beginning, we get to know that the character of James, which is played by Mammootty, he's a miserly Catholic, you can say, and he's agnostic. Agnostic, as in he doesn't really believe in God. There is a reference that is there. When being questioned as a Catholic, saying that I can do only so much for my religion, and where this is where I would draw the line. And that is something that I think did give us a picture that he was agnostic as well. He was a bit of a joy killer as well. He did not like members of his theatrical group to shout at the top of his voices in the bus. He wanted to keep it traditional and play only Malayalam songs in the bus as compared to the Tamil songs. So his relationship with Tamil Nadu also wasn't the best. In a separate scene, he was also criticizing the food, the Tamil Nadu food that was there, and he said that the tea was too sweet for his liking, and he was almost dismissive of it. However, he wasn't a very hateful guy. He was a very tolerant guy, and I say tolerant because in that scene in the lodge, there were frames of Hindu gods as well as gods of Christianity, Jesus Christ, and he did not flinch an eyelid. It wasn't that it bothered him as such that why there were other gods. So he somewhere you could feel that he was an agnostic and did not was not very religious, is what I can say. But when the conflict comes, if you remember Churuli, Lijo Jose Periseri's earlier film Churuli, if there was a bridge that distinguished the two worlds, once you cross the bridge, you go into the other world. Here it was the sleep factor that was there, the sleep factor, and there is one major clue that is there right at the beginning, and that is something that was absolutely brilliant, brilliantly placed. In that lodge, it said that to to fall asleep is death, and to wake up from sleep is birth. This was a line that was said in the Tamil scripture called Thirukural. I have written it down in my notepad here. Thirukural, that is a famous Tamil scripture that hosts this line, and this line summarizes the entire film and the events to follow. So after a very heavy lunch, that on the way back, when the passengers are returning, after a very heavy lunch, when everyone falls asleep, suddenly James wakes up and asks the driver to stop the bus. And what seemed like a routine stop, turned out to be a very long wait where James absolutely disappears into a village and only to reappear as a totally different man. And that man was Sundaran. And that is where the conflict lies, and there is a whole level of absurdity as to who Sundaran is, what is it. I mean, in a hilarious sequence, he just walks into a household and later on, after interacting with a few of the family members, he just walks off, takes the bike, the household bike that is there, and starts roaming in the village. And that is something that was hilarious. Why hilarious? Because there's a whole village that is after him. It was a hilarious sequence in which everyone was not recognizing him at all, which did add to the intrigue. And he following him and wanting to find out where that guy, the handsome guy with the bike, went. And in a couple of scenes he just rides right past them and they do not know that. So it was very well choreographed and it was meant for a hilarious sequence. Now, talking about some of the characteristics of Sundaram, he is a very chilled out guy. He likes to interact with people, makes them laugh, appreciates food, but he's a staunch Hindu follower as well. And that can be referenced from the fact that the village temple that was being made. I think that is the reference point that was there, and it made for a fascinating alter ego, so to say. It was a completely different character from James. So James at this point was Sundaram, and that made for a phenomenal character, contrasting character, you can say. It was totally different from his um, earlier self. At the same time, the, you did get a chance to see that, chance to know rather, that Sundaram was actually, Sundaram had disappeared from his place 2 years ago, only to return as James on the exact same day. And that made a bit of an intrigue that was there. The drama does, touch upon, a social commentary as well, which in a fantastic interval block, Mammootty says as Sundara, that this is my land, and this is where I've grown up, and I can go anywhere I want, and nobody has the right to tell me. It was a reference to one of the placards that said, "All the world is a stage, and I can dance anywhere I would wish to." And that made for an interesting interval block that was there. In between, there is a clever meta reference also that is thrown in. At a scene, at a local eatery, Mammootty is seeing, as Sundaram, by the way, he's seen mouthing a few dialogues, which shows that he's a very cheerful guy, unlike a joy kill as James. He's mouthing the dialogues that are being played out on the television that are there. And that made for such a fascinating scene because the television was playing the film Parampara, the 1990 film Parampara, which also starred Mammootty in a dual role as father and son, and he was reciting both the dialogues, and it met with such a cheer in the theater that was there by a handful of people. It was absolutely stunning to witness that. In between, also the character studies of some of the other characters were very fascinating. In an otherwise sleepy narrative, and sleepy I would say in a very good sense, otherwise sleepy narrative, you did find a guy who wanted to rush back to Kerala because he wanted to open his ration shop. So he added the much needed urgency to the drama. In a separate scene as well, there was another character that was a nurse, but the entire village called him mad. So all these did contribute to the humor element that was there. Almost the entire second half, it does focus on the villagers and the bus passengers getting together to you know sedate him and send Sundaram back into his world as James. And that does bring with an interesting conflict because some of his relatives of Sundaram, who've now started getting used to his presence, despite him not looking like Sundaram, or despite him feeling, more like a giving out of Sundaram vibe, including his blind mother, who used to quote watch TV. He was blind but was watching TV. Was very used to, her son coming in and, sleeping in her lap, and which is what Mammootty had done while he was here as Sundaram. And so it met with a bit of resistance, to send him back. Even the characters of the two wives, are very cordial to one another, but the wife of Sundaram again is not in favor of him going, having seen him return after 2 years. That did make for a bit of an emotional watch as well. However, they managed to sedate him and send him back. The end, though, might seem a little abrupt, but then it brings out a sense of ambiguity. Why was James behaving like that? Why was, Sundaram, who was Sundaram rather, who was Sundaram, and why was he not returning after 2 years? There's a sense of ambiguity, and I have a couple of theories as usual for me from my end, and let's see if you agree to it or not. So, Sundaram, so rather, the film ends on a note that said, one stop play, which was, which was directed by playwright Thilakan. Thilakan was a famous playwright that was there, and he had. It is said that he directed one stop play. So this might have been a film within a film. You never know. Remember, these are theater artists, and this could have been a film within a film. Absolutely. Or another theory says that this all could have been, in the mind of James, as a self introspect. Remember, he and the group were coming from visiting a church, in Tamil Nadu, in church, on the way back to Kerala. And so the afternoon nap might just be like an entire dream sequence, of him self introspecting, or this might be entirely a plot of a play that he would just be boiling in his head. The entire play, we do not know which one is true, but it's left to speculation. This might entirely also be like a play that is forming in his head, as a next play or an adaptation of the Thilakan playwright, so to say, drama. And so this, really sums up the screenplay that was so terrific and so brilliant that it makes you think, and it's a mind bender, and one of the best mind benders in the comic zone that I have seen ever. And this is the spoiler that was there. Now, coming to the technical aspects very quickly, the dialogues are, they are in two languages, Tamil and Malayalam. Now, these two add a level of authenticity to the drama, the authenticity, because this is set in Tamil Nadu, probably on the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, but in Tamil Nadu, this did add a layer of authenticity to it. Now, coming to the background music, background music is mostly features, the sounds coming from a television, and these are just noises that the background music just adapts and makes it its own. Which is to say that the old films that are playing on television, they just are adapted in the sort of a melodrama to add theatrics to the ultimate drama. This is again, you have to remember that this is again a story of a group of this is a story of a theater group that is there, and so the theatrics were added through the television sounds that were there, and that made for a spectacular spectacular background sound that was there, and it did add a lot of layer to the drama. And it was so unassuming that the viewer did not really notice it, but the situations were bang on with the drama that was, with the background score that was playing out in the background, and that was a fascinating watch. The cinematography, the white shots, would remind you of some of the European films that you may have watched, where some action is happening at some point on the frame, and it is left up to the viewer to spot where the action is happening. This is very European style of filmmaking, and it's absolutely brilliant to watch. Lijo Jose Pellicer is a master. He's a god of absurdity, and my god, he is phenomenal here. Always, he challenges the viewer to, press the envelope, to push the envelope, and to, form your own theories. And that is something that I absolutely adored here. It was phenomenal. Also, the direction here, there are no easy, easy spoon feeding that is there. He's always challenging the viewer, and that is something that I absolutely like. I'm a fan of Lijo Jose Pellicer, and you know, his direction here is outstanding. The performances here, coming to the performances, I felt the performances by all the other characters are very good. The characters of the wives, played by Ramya Pandian and Ramya Suvi, they both are spectacular and fabulous. Even Ashokan, they all have their moments to shine. But this is an out and out Mammootty show. It is an out and out Mammootty show. Mammootty is a legend. At 71, when his peers are romancing, actresses half their age, his peers are, literally, playing out to the galleries. He's reinventing himself, and how. Just to give you an example, he's playing the dual roles of James and Sundaram. So the moment he steps into that Tamil household, he becomes Sundaram in the most seamless manner. Oh my God, this is the most seamless I've seen Mammootty, switching from one role to another within the same space and the same setting that is there. It was an outstanding performance, one of the best performances, a performance that would actually stay with you. And it's, imagine he's doing this at the age of 71. He's far, far ahead of all the actors, not even his age, but even some of the actors that are from his younger age as well. He's phenomenal here, and he does a terrific job, absolutely terrific job. So overall, it is Nanpakal one second, Nanpakal Nerathu Mayakkam, which is an outstanding film. Highly recommended from my end. It is probably a film that extends the LJP and Mammootty supremacy. It is a whimsical drama of cinematic brilliance of the highest order, and it is the Malayalam cinema that has got off to a flyer in 2023. Absolute flyer. The video is long, so then let me know if you agree with all the points. It is a spoiler video, so if you like the video, please smash that like button. This was completely unfiltered, one take video that was there. So sorry for the camera movements that were there. Um, Let me know your thoughts on watching the film. What did you make of the film? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to read my full review of the film, then please visit my site Popcorn Reviews with a double S, the link of which is in the description box below. Also follow me on different social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd. All links are in the description box below. I do not end up making a video of all the films that I watch and review, but I do write a lot, and all information will be either present on my site or on my social media pages. Also, share this video. It's an experiment, whether you like longer videos or not. Share the video with your friends, and let's expand our digi family. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, press that bell icon, and let me know if there's any feedback, any recommendations of any other films that are there. Once again, thank you so much for recommending me this film. Couple of subscribers that I can name is Wes Brown and Puff Daddy. Both of them did recommend me this film and coaxed me to watch it, which I finally did. My video is dedicated to the entire Digi family, who's always been spreading the love and always has been kind. So let's expand this community that is there. Let's expand it and get in more people, and let's expand our family, and let's throw in our opinions by being civil with one another. Throwing opinions, having opinions is never a problem. The way you say it is the problem. And so if you're saying it in the most civil manner, then it's absolutely fine. So then, until next time, I will see you again very soon with another video. Let me know what did you think of this video. So then, until next time, thank you so much.